Welcome to Hack and Slash, a D&D 2E podcast, where we talk about Dungeons & Dragons 2nd Edition, our favorite version of D&D.
It appears kind of in the 90s, and we still play and still love it. We don't know why, but it's the best one.
Yeah, we're very nostalgic for this era, so we talk about all things related to it. We hope you enjoy.
Yeah, much fun.
That nerdy basement game for weirdos and Satanists has somehow become both mainstream and prestigious. It has survived the slings and arrows of its detractors and is now experiencing a renaissance after 40 plus years of existence. Something few brands ever witness. If Winston Churchill was right in saying history is written by the victors, then the fact that this book is in your hands means Dungeons & Dragons won. Yo, and that was from Joe Manganiello.
Oh, okay, I knew it was familiar. It's from Joe Manganiello, the intro to the Art and Arcana book.
That's it. From 2018, and welcome to Hack and Slash.
Yeah, welcome to Hack and Slash,
it was
dude.
the first time that I read something and have a quote, and I'm a little bit nervous when I read things. But yeah, that was from the Art and Arcana
I'm nervous
book.
all the time.
Oh, yeah, but you can handle that really, really professional. So it's Art and Arcana, this art book from D&D. It's on the first side, and it's the intro of the book. And I thought it's a really, really cool quote, and it's really, really fitting to the today's episode. And so I brought it up. So I really love it.
Yeah, dude, and that the Art and Arcana book is sort of some prime source material for today's episode, where we're talking about the origins of the game, the origins of
where
D&D.
Where it comes from, what is it all, what you play here, yeah?
That's a rad quote, dude. Like, the only reason I recognize it is because I brushed up a little bit. I reread some of the Art and Arcana book before the episode. Last night I didn't extend, at the last minute. But I
Whatever.
We're doing a fucking
homework.
podcast tomorrow. I don't know jack shit about what we're talking about.
Good, but did you recognize what I have there on the
I did also see that, dude.
You have to make pictures from that.
We'll make pictures.
Yeah.
For the viewers, the visual here is he read the quote from the art
cardboard, not a cardboard.
Yeah, it's
like
a piece of cardboard.
Board.
And it's so on the back where he's reading it, it's a quote from Joe. How do you pronounce it? Joe Manganiello.
Yeah, Manganiello.
I should know that. Well, last week we fucked up Dave Arneson's name. This week, every week we'll fuck up somebody's name.
Last
and
month, you mean?
We'll be pieces of shit.
That's true. But Dave Arneson we know now. Joe
now
Manganiello we will learn
next
too.
week. We'll correct ourselves and learn Joe Manganiello's name.
He's a cool guy. He's an actor.
He's rad,
and he plays D&D, and he has also a live action, not live action, like a live stream playing with other celebrities. D&D.
Yeah, and he has this this intro to the Art and Arcana book, which we both read and prepped for this episode because it has a lot of information about the origin of the game.
Totally.
And you read it off of the cardboard. And the front of the cardboard is the montage, the fucking collage of our top favorite monsters.
Yes, but it's a new collage.
It is new,
dude. Not this one what I had there on Instagram. So I'm making new one.
You've been busy at work with collaging the shit out.
Yes, I got bored, and so I said, "Hey, come on! I have all these pictures there. I printed them out." So
it's so cool, dude. Yeah, we'll eventually do an art episode, and we should totally give a shout out to the artists of all the AD&D 2nd Edition art.
Yeah.
We'll mangle their names and then fuck it up, but correct ourselves in the next episode.
Yeah. We make blah blah blah, and maybe
this fucking guy, he made a bunch of art, whatever his name is.
Names.
I don't know.
Who cares about names? It's enough that I know Dungeons and Dragons. this name.
Joe. So. Yeah.
Dungeon and your name.
Yeah, my name is Hack.
Hack.
I'm Hack, and this is Slash. Cheers.
Slash. Welcome to Hack and Slash, episode number 4. Today it's, what is today? The 9th of September?
I lost track.
9?
Something,
99?
Dude. I don't know. Yeah, no, it is. It is, because...
yeah, I think so.
It is.
I have to... No, it's the 8th of September.
It's the 8th? Oh, right. Okay, I really don't know.
But it's a Friday, and you're going to listen to us on Friday, maybe, so welcome to the weekend.
Yeah,
So-
we launch our podcast the last Friday of every month, and we record it a few weeks in advance, so we can listen to ourselves, criticize ourselves, and lacerate our own genitals in shame.
Last time the last episodes always we make these like going back and talk about like the other episodes or the episode to the previous episode.
Yeah, let's not do that this time.
Nah, this time we don't.
Our
have
last
to.
episode was perfect.
Yeah, it's the same what I think. Totally. Oh, you spiked out.
Oh shit, I spiked
dude,
out this
dude,
time.
What's wrong with you?
Whatever, dude, we fix it in editing.
I'm so flat in the line, but I think it's fine, huh? With the technique.
I'm a little excited.
Yeah, it's okay. Me too. I prep myself really, really much for this episode. It's so much to learn about the origins, where it starts, D&D, and where it goes, and whatever. So, and I bought so many stuff. You see already?
The quote that you started with is badass, dude. It really sums it up,
Thanks.
Like,
Yeah.
it was just a niche fucking nerd-ass game, like,
Yeah.
And
for Satanists, I love
for
that.
Satanists,
It's so
a
nice.
nerd for nerdy Satanists.
I love it. So, the basement game for nerds.
Guys
and
who are just
Satanists.
fixing computers and killing cats, We all know those guys.
And fuck their own sisters.
Wait, do Satanists do that?
I don't know. Satanists do
Or
that.
do nerds do that? If you're in Alabama, both! Venn diagram.
Dude, it seems to me as a really, really long as time that we talked about, talked the last time, like had this last recording. I mean, it's just 1 month, but in between it was so much going on, like,
Oh, there's a lot.
I played a lot, not D&D, but other role-playing games. It was so much fun, like whatever kind of.
What's your D&D world been like in the last month? You're Don't stray too far from the. Let's not get into every detail about Morgborg. I know we both played Morgborg.
Morgborg, really nice. Yeah. But I don't want to talk about Morgborg right now. Just like it was.
I know you can talk about it for a full podcast
Totally,
length of time.
it's a really, really cool system, But I also played Tales from the Loop, which is completely different to D&D, but whatever. So it was a really, really exciting month. So, and I also went out of church. In Germany, you are.
Oh, dude, yeah. Tell people about that, so the world needs to know.
I was too long in church, like
Explain that.
Yeah, I don't
to
know.
our viewers.
Yeah, because I came from Vechta, which is a really little town, and when you got a birthday there, it's normally that you are in church then, like you are römisch-katholisch then. It's normal.
Yeah.
thing.
So listeners, what he's saying is like that. This is for all my friends from around the world, not in Germany. There's so much fucked up shit about Germany. You have no idea. Holy fuck. You just have to come here and learn what it's all about. Like, there is a church tax in this country. Yes. You get taxed 8% of your income. If you're born and baptized in the Roman Catholic Church, you are paying tax to the Roman Catholic Church out of your paycheck, 8%.
For example, for me, it was kind of like every month around 30 euros. And I didn't really check it all the time since my wife went out of church and said, Flo, you have to went out of church. I said, yeah, I know. I want
to go out of church, meaning that you have to exempt yourself from the church tax. You have to proactively do that. You have to go to an office, an agency, a state office.
To a court. You have to pay 30 euros.
You have to pay 30 euros.
Go to court, and that's
and
it.
Go to court. And then you don't have to pay the church tax.
The woman in the court was so funny. She was like, oh, yeah. One good thing per day. That's really good that you come here.
She's like,
she was like, yeah, good that you do that.
I said 10 rapists before you, and I got to tell you, thanks for just getting out of the church tax, homie. It really lightened my load.
And I don't know why I waited for that too long. I mean, I'm a lazy boy sometimes, and I don't thought about things like that. But always like, fuck the fucking church thing, like, and I pay for them.
It's ridiculous, dude.
It's ridiculous.
That's some crazy. Yeah. That is like. It's like a D&D. Sometimes there's some shit in Germany that reminds me if like that I'm in a D&D game. Mm-hmm. There's some stuff about the society here, and that is definitely one of them, dude.
Yeah, and
that is totally that's something
evil.
That would happen in a Dungeons and Dragons realm.
Yeah, and that
like you pay the church tax,
and it's fucking evil, So, dude, I'm a little bit nervous because of the technique thing again. Because my thing looks like so small, and your thing looks so big.
Oh, how about that? How about that?
Yeah, now our things looking equal big.
Okay.
It sounds so sex too.
Well, we fix it in post. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but it sounds like your dick is so big than mine and blah blah blah.
It's not. We're just talking about voice. What is it even called? There's a word for it. I'm sure that I don't know. The sound lines on the. Who cares?
Yeah.
I'll tell you about my thing, dude, because I'm stoked about it. What I was up to last month since we recorded.
Elbenwald.
We went to Elbenwald Festival.
Man.
It's a really fun festival. The Elbenwald. It's like the elf forest, and really fun, family-friendly fun. But also there's mead, and you can get drunk on mead, which is family-friendly fun. And there was all these great bands. All these great bands. First burp, whoop whoop. So much good shit, dude. Elbenwald, it was like
it's
this.
It's so fantasy. It's like they're playing role playing there.
Yeah.
You know, there's LARP, there's live action role play.
There's
so many cool things.
It's about a 2-hour drive outside of Berlin, and it's basically a Renaissance festival, which
it's next to Chemnitz
in
or
Germany. Not really.
No, not really.
No,
okay.
no.
I saw it.
Not
okay.
at all. Not.
Okay. Sorry.
It's kind of between Berlin and Chemnitz, but international listeners have no clue what the fuck Chemnitz is. So
whatever,
who gives
I don't
a
care.
shit?
Yeah, I just mix it up. Whatever.
The former Karl Marx city, formerly known as Karl Marx City, Chemnitz.
Is it so?
It was, yeah. During the East German times, it was called Karl Marx Stadt.
You see, you know more about the history of German than me.
Bards.
Bards. That's what your T-shirt said.
Yeah, and that's the thing I'm talking about. So I'm getting this T-shirt because, dude, I fucking went to Elbenwald. There was so much cool stuff there. It was a Renaissance festival, which they call Mittelaltermarkt or Middle Ages markets in German. But it was each Mittelaltermarkt has its theme, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And this one was like a cosplay con themed Renaissance fair. So there's all this cosplay.
Nice.
And it was like super nerdcore.
But cosplay in any way or just in a medieval way?
No, like anything.
Anything like Star Wars.
A lot of Star Wars, a lot of Lord of the Rings, and a lot of Harry Potter.
Oh, God.
We went there last year, and there was like more Star Wars and Harry Potter. I felt like this year there was more anime and video game characters.
Okay, nice. I like that.
Mario Brothers were there, you know,
of
the movie
course.
came out.
Yeah, of course.
But they also this year had the new thing, which was the role-playing village.
Nice.
And they had all these different games, RPGs you could play, including
For
D&D.
example, okay, D&D.
I mean, of course, D&D was there.
Yeah, what other?
I don't know. I didn't get a chance to explore it because
whatever.
I was with my family and I was really
but
busy.
D&D
in the
just
daytime.
5e, of course, huh?
But yeah, I we were mostly just going about and checking. Of course, 5e, dude. They didn't have 2e.
Yeah.
Nobody. That's what I'm saying. Nobody plays 2e, but us.
But you gave our stickers.
Oh, I gave stickers out to people. I took some time and definitely handed the stickers out for Hack and Slash podcast. But also there was so many, there's great bands, you know, and...
if you want stickers, go to Patreon.
Yeah, we do have stickers. If you want stickers, and you're not going to get them at Elbenwald because you can't come to Germany to go to one of the most badass Mittelaltermarkt in the world, then you can order them from Patreon. Just go to our Patreon, give us a little bit of cash, give us a little bit of money, enough to support, have us buy a beer or two.
Dudes, people, really, please, if you listen to us on YouTube or even on Spotify, but especially on YouTube, please just hit that fucking thumb up, you know, please just give a like and maybe subscribe to Jake Weiss. That's his channel, you know, because we run our podcast on his channel on YouTube.
It's all I'm doing with the channel these days. So you don't have to like my other, I have nothing else to invade your feed.
It's also cool to like the other things what he have there because he make great music stuff. So, but please give a like and please subscribe because it helps us, please, for growing, you know, and it's really easy for you and you have now nothing to worry about when you hit this like button, I think.
Yeah, we won't steal your data.
Yeah. Maybe we do.
No, don't. We won't. No, don't scare them.
We not, but maybe YouTube. I don't know
I don't know what YouTube does.
I don't know how that works. but I don't think so. And I'm so into YouTube all the time, and I never have any problems with hitting the like button, you know. So and it helps really to grow, let channels grow. But sorry, I interrupt you.
No, it's all good, man.
Yeah.
It's a good to plug the Patreon because sometimes we get excited and we forget.
And Instagram.
And check us on Instagram too. And we have pictures of all the stuff we have up right now to inspire us, and pictures of things like.
And today it's a lot.
This collage of our favorite monsters Flo made, and also this shirt because there
Bard shirt.
I
It's so
bought the
sweet.
Bard shirt on, and
You bought it there?
Yeah, it's from Elbenwald, and it's there was so many great artists there, and they were just brilliant artists, man. And I spent a little bit too much more than I anticipated, more than I wanted to, because I just was like, this art is so good, and I'm decorating my creative workspace right now and trying to make it fresh with art. And this woman, I had to look through it today because there were so many artists. I was like, which artist did I buy this shirt from, dude? I forgot.
Yeah.
So I finally found her Insta profile. It's Lorena L, and she's at Amaretta on Instagram. And she has really cool art, including she had shirts with different D&D classes. But guess what, dude? She was I went to her at the end of the weekend, and so most of her stuff was sold out, you know? Like, everyone wants to be, the barbarian and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And
But
I was...
Bard was
There were
completely
so many
full.
Bard shirts, dude.
Oh, no.
There were so many Bard shirts left. I was just like...
I want to buy them all, please. for every day of the year.
Yeah, it's like a little work. So when one's dirty, this one's for Tuesday. Oh, dude, but I am a bard.
You are the Bard.
So I have
Yeah,
my bard
for
shirt,
sure. Yeah,
and
yeah.
I've been wearing it. I love it.
Yeah.
And this is my origin story of D&D. D&D inspired like who I am so much that I actually wanted to become a bard in real life, both as just a modern personality.
Oh, really? Is this what you are?
As what I am.
In Marx, what you are is because you played D&D and
as I was exploring,
and then it was like cool. I love to play bards, so I want to play music. Or
well, I've always been into music and acting as a craft. Those are kind of my lifelong
is it
crafts
our original
and passions.
story? Oh yeah, it's again.
But,
it's
yeah, we go.
I
little
love
bit
it. I
into
love
that
it.
with this our own origins of the game and stuff. But then I
origins.
was kind of like thinking my own class, my D&D class in real life, the equivalent is very, very easily the bard. So I've always identified with them, and I'm like, dude, so badass, gotta buy this bard shirt. But I thought to myself, maybe I should get something else. Maybe as a little gift.
Oh no.
For my friend.
Oh no.
Oh, I'm running over across the room.
He's gone. I don't know where he's going. I'm alone now on the microphone. I'm scared. But he's coming back, and you have a big bag with a
Merry
dragon on it.
Christmas.
Oh, yeah, it's September. It's a September Christmas. I put my
I got you a little something from Elbenwald.
Nice. I love this bag, dude. This bag is beautiful.
The bag is from some other Middle Alta mark. You can keep it too, though.
Oh, nice. Dungeons and Dragons box. It's coming here. Dude! Oh, what?
Be very careful.
Oh,
It's loosely packaged.
Oh, you are so crazy.
I already opened it.
What? Oh, guys, you have to see that. Oh,
We'll take a picture and put it on Insta.
That's so insane. Oh, that's so fucking insane. Nice, I love it. That's it's a mug. But it's a crazy mug. It's with this ant symbol. What's
The ampersand, I think.
ampersand?
The D&D ampersand.
Yeah, this dragon, this red dragon, and the holder where you have your hand. It's a dragon in silver. And there was a D20 inside, and then the dexterity. Nice, all the attributes are there. Oh, that's beautiful, dude. I want to. I have to hug you. I can't kiss you, but I have to hug you.
Gimme.
Gimme. Thanks, dude. That's so good. That's so fucking good. Okay. Now I have to do it because I wanted to give that in the end of the episode to you, but
you're gonna give me the montage.
It's the montage is for you.
For me, a collage is a montage. I don't know.
Yeah,
I can't tell. I'm too stupid to understand the difference.
Me neither.
Give me the montage of your art.
Yeah, but that's our 10 favorite monsters, and I wanted to give that to you with that. Just as an
Cool, dude.
Reminder. No,
Yeah.
like an what you say? Like
Memento.
yeah, like a memento. Yeah.
I would set that up in my creative space right along
Cool,
with
yeah.
Lorena's art, dude.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Dude, I love that thing. Is that cool? It's steel.
Yeah, it's like
But you have to hand wash it, I think. Huh?
you have to hand wash it. Although you can wash this one in the dishwasher. I'll explain all of it later.
Bah.
But yeah, Why'd you enjoy?
Maybe I will never use it and just put it on my shelf. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, I thought if you want, you can also, you're a prolific mini painter. You could put like paintbrushes in it.
Yeah, I thought about that right now to put my paintbrush inside of that. Dude, wow, that's so fucking amazing.
It's a big old D&D medieval fantasy style mug, like the kind you'd see in a video game.
Nice.
But it's really, really ostentatious, over the top.
It's so ridiculous, and I love it,
Yeah.
So, and I love all this packaging, and I'm right now, and shout out to this guy, to Theo Kane, Slimehouse TV, and he is into like these action figures from the 90s, and he always shows also the art of the boxes where the minis are in.
Oh, cool, man.
And sometimes he just let the minis inside of that, of course, because then they are more worthful. And I thought about like put that just on my shelf like that. It looks so beautiful. But I think I will use it. But I will see. So it's a cool art piece. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
I'm
dude.
really, really glad. Wow,
Yeah.
that's so cool.
Yeah, Elbenwald rules, dude. So much good merch. Oh, drained my treasury.
Wow. Now I'm close to tears.
Yeah, dude. I was hoping you'd like it.
Totally.
It's really fun.
It's so crazy. It's so good.
So anyway, we're talking about the origins of D&D today, and
I love
again,
this word origins always.
I think though that these stories, the tales of the Elbenwald and whatnot, it goes to show like exactly what the quote you said. By the way, we never know which quotes we're going to say at the beginning. So
Yes,
Flo
that's always a
surprised me with the
surprise.
quote.
Yeah, and
but I'm not pretending to be surprised. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
But like,
and we always normally, like the last 3 episodes, Jake did the quotes, and I was like, I think I will never do the quotes because I'm not so good in reading in front of people. I hate it. So because I'm getting nervous, and I don't know.
yeah,
why.
whatever, you're fine.
So, yeah, whatever. So, but today it was like, I have a cool quote, I want to bring it up. And he was like, today, I have a cool quote from a cool song, whatever. And I said, but I have a quote.
Yeah, I was gonna do Op-Ivy. Yours was better. Okay.
Okay, cool.
So like,
whatever, if better or not, but I love this
it's
quote.
more pertinent
So,
to the topic at hand.
Yes.
But that quote, I think, like, it goes to show, like, at the Elbenwald, like, how many people are just enjoying Dungeons and Dragons, and there's like bands singing about it, like punk bands and stuff, and singing about D&D. Like, it's clearly like part of our mass pop culture right now, and
and these days, totally.
When would you, that kind of a mug? I mean, they wouldn't. Even when we were growing up in the 90s, there's a lot of like D&D stuff,
For sure. Yeah.
But there wasn't stuff like that.
Yeah, not so like popping out and popping in your eyes, like so.
Yeah, they didn't have they had minis, and they had some books and supplements, and they even had
you can buy things like that already, like in normal markets, kind of, like there is like this D&D DVDs and blah blah. So there will come more and more merch. Sorry, for sure, So yeah.
But it's funny that it all has gotten to this point now, almost 50 years later, after it was created by
Dave Arneson.
Okay, last week we were so disrespectful of fucking Dave Arneson,
Last
dude.
month, you mean always?
Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't understand time.
Time.
I don't understand. I don't know what day it is. I don't know how time works.
You have to watch again. Like, don't hug me. I'm scared about time. So. But Dave Arneson. You mean?
Yeah.
Nine, you mean Gary Gygax.
Last week we're like, it was created by like Gary Gygax and Dave something. What was his fucking name?
Blah blah blah.
And then this week, now this month we did our research, so I really learned like how influential Dave Arneson was on this game, just as much as Gary Gygax.
I
if
have
not more.
like from my other book, which stands here in front of us, which was a really really helpful source for me. Also for this episode, it's like Game Wizards is the name of the book.
Game Wizards by
John Patterson, who actually also was included to Art and Arcana. Who
Okay.
also wrote that a little bit. He was like one of the authors in Art and Arcana.
Oh, nice.
And he wrote.
What is this, Oprah's book club all of a sudden? All right.
Yeah. So, and here was like this other quote. It's like Gygax and Arneson were co-creators of D&D in at least the crucial sense that Gygax would never have worked towards such a game without the inspiration of Arneson's vision.
Yeah.
And Arneson would never have realized the publication of such a game without the structure that Gygax provided for it.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
yeah.
And that's what's so funny, dude. So also, this other book that you lent me, this comic book, is Gary Gygax and the Creation of D&D, Rise of the Dungeon Master by David Kushner, illustrated by Corin Shabmi. And Flo read, and then he and then I read it. I read it in one night. I devoured the shit out of that comic.
Yeah,
I couldn't sleep. I read the whole thing.
Yeah. Shout out to the comic also.
Yeah, really good comic. It's a graphic novel about Gary Gygax and Dave Arneson, basically, in creation of D&D.
Yes.
And it was so funny because it really reminded me of like me and you, because when like. As you just said, what you just said about Dave Arneson having the vision and Gary Gygax having like the structure, and there's this part where like it talked about how like Dave was a little frustrated with Gary making up too much rules all the time.
Yes.
And it really reminded me of when last December we did our battle royale, right?
Yes.
And we decided just for fun we were going to. So here's the background of this.
Nice.
Flo hosts a campaign, and I have a player character, and then I host a campaign as DM where he's my player character.
Yeah, we switch sometimes.
We have a group of friends that are doing it with us, and we decide, what if we just did like our characters from each other's campaigns tete-a-tete, the battle royale between two of our characters in an alternate plane of existence.
Maybe listeners, you know this battle royale idea. I stole that from Critical Role because
really?
I had it there.
Critical Role.
Yeah. So
I didn't know that. Oh shit.
Yeah. It's battle royale, but just with main characters of the last episodes of Critical Role.
Okay.
So it's different than what we do, like from two different worlds. So from two different campaigns, two characters, like your main character in my campaign and your and my character in your campaign.
So my vision of this was, we have AD&D second edition rules. We'll get a board and we will have our guys fight on the board. That's it. And then, and I was moving, and it was very stressful. It was a stressful December. I was moving. Me and my wife caught COVID on Christmas. It was horrible.
Oh yeah.
And you're sitting there, and you're texting me and leaving voice message. You're like, we need to make more rules. What if we made rules like this? What if we had this and that? And I'm like, and I was like, dude, it's too many rules. Why? Please stop. No more rules. Let's just play D&D, Flo. Let's just play D&D. Stop with the rules. He's like, what if we do this? The rules. They need more rules.
Overcome me, and I had more and more ideas and what we all can do, and I'm like this wargamer guy also. So, and I had all these cool ideas of war, cool, and we can put like this D&D rule into this and this, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, for sure.
But
it was like this spam,
There's this panel of the comic where it shows Dave Arneson being like, looking frustrated with like, Gary Gygax constantly making more rules, and I'm like, so reminiscent of fucking Battle Royale.
So you will say, I am Gary Gygax and you are Dave Arneson?
Yeah, I think you're more like Gary.
You are gone!
Oh.
Because Gygax was more
Gygax
important.
he fired Arneson.
Kind of.
Well, look, dude, here's the thing. I was also thinking about how disrespectful we were to Dave with not remembering his name last week. And I gotta just say, like, Gygax, you don't forget a name like that.
No.
That's a memorable name.
It's like GG, it's like a comic hero.
I was thinking more like an alien.
Yeah, also, but
Gary
also
Gygax,
because of
space.
the same Buchstabe in English.
The same letters.
Letters in the beginning, like Peter Parker or blah blah blah. Like all these Marvel heroes. So Gary Gygax.
I was thinking
and then
is
Dave Arneson. But Arneson's also not so complicated, but whatever,
I don't know. It's not as memorable of a name, and for me, Gygax stuck in there because not only is he like on Futurama and all that shit as we discussed last week, but like.
Also, he is just on the book, like on. I have here the Dungeon Master book. Handbook from the first edition. Yeah. And there was standing just from Gary Gygax.
Yeah. There's no book that says from Dave Arneson on the front cover.
Yeah. And that is really like what he sued then. Like that, it's clear that he is also one of the creators of D&D. Like in the late 70s, I think. But we come to that during the episode.
Don't just say it now. This is very unhinged.
Yeah, okay. But I will still say
no structure here. Just say what's on your mind.
Yeah. So
purple, dove, cow, shoe, peanut butter.
Oh, beer, pee-pee. I think it was 1705, 76 or so, or maybe later. I will. I have to have a look into my book to get the numbers right. But he sued like TSR, this company. Right. So
that was in the 80s too, wasn't it? Like during second edition era?
I think it was 85 or so, could be, or 83.
Yeah, I think it wasn't the AD&D, but like they had come out with 2E.
Yeah.
That was when TSR
I
started
know,
to go.
but no. I think it was before the second edition because second
it's
edition
still
was
first edition world.
because it was 89 when second edition comes out.
A lot of drama with this company.
It was a huge drama. For
Huge
sure.
drama,
So
dude.
let's start this episode.
Let me tell you about the guy. Why I remember Gygax though. It's an origin story, aren't it?
Yeah, for sure.
It's my own origin. Again, how I became familiar with Gary Gygax, who is the creator of D&D, along with Dave Arneson. And why I don't remember Dave and I do remember Gary is because when I first started playing...
Sounds like they were friends. I remember Gary, but I don't remember Dave.
Dave was just some guy who came to my pub trivia evenings, and he was the sports guy.
Yeah. He was boring.
Me and my friends were playing when I was 13, and we're just getting into it. As I mentioned on a previous episode, his older brother kind of got us into it, you know?
Yeah.
And his older brother had this speech impediment, so he's pretty nerdy, I think. I'm guessing amongst his own group in school, maybe a little bit of an outcast and a nerd, but he was the older brother of my friend, and so he was cool to us, you know? And we really kind of respected him, although we still kind of made fun of him a little bit because the speech impediment, the nerdy thing.
What's a speech impediment?
He talked like this.
Ah,
he had a
okay.
little thing where he talked like this.
Okay,
and he
I
had
see.
braces, so it was a
okay,
little bit...
like lispeln in German.
Yeah, it's like, you know, when nerds talk like this,
okay.
and you're 13 years old, and everybody
Right.
makes fun of each other, and boys are horrible to each other.
Yeah.
You know, we're just a bunch of fucking pieces of shit at that age. So, like, we were really horrible. I mean, 13-year-olds, listen, I love you, though. Please don't come and steal our information off the internet in revenge for saying that. But this boy, he looked and he said, here's what you want. He brought out an old version of the Monster Manual. He was like kind of against second edition, and we were buying the second edition books because that was what was on the market. That's our, you know, the thing of our era. But he was like, look, he's like, you don't want this. He's like, he's like, this is bullshit, this new second edition stuff. He's like, the original guy who made this stuff here's the stuff. He brought out the Monster Manual from first edition, said,
Crazy.
Said, this is Gary Gygax.
Oh, no.
And
I'm sorry.
Of course, all night,
so
we're
funny.
like, your brother said Gary Gygax. And we kind of made fun of him for speech impediment.
Yeah, it's normal. It's normal what to do in the 90s, you know, like...
Hopefully kids are still making fun of each other a little
retarded.
bit. God damn, you're not allowed to say it, Flo.
Yeah, I just said retarded. What's the problem with
Out
you
of
saying
context,
retarded?
it's still just as bad. The internet will still murder you for it. But they don't care. People just want to hate each other. That's what the internet's about.
Yeah. That's
but yeah, dude, like
internet for, huh? I think.
it's the main thing people use it for. But this guy, like, man, he's the one who kind of introduced us. His name is Brandon, I think, dude.
You talked about Brandon before.
That's
yeah,
a different
sure.
Brandon, though.
Okay, sorry.
There's a lot of Brandons.
Brandon.
There's
That
Brandon.
was his horse.
There's
Brandon is
Brandon
not
the
a
horse
horse.
from first episode. There's Brandon, my friend's older brother, and neither of them are the Let's Go Brandon.
Is there so many Brandons in the US? Or?
There's a lot of Brandon. I think in the 80s it was a popular name.
It's like a Matthias or Sebastian or Florian in German, huh?
Yeah, it was. But yeah, dude, and so that name stuck with me from that time. So that's why, for me, Gary Gygax. There's so many others too. There's like Zeb Cook and like all sorts of people who.
For me, it was always Larry Elmore.
Yeah,
because he was like the artist who painted all the pictures. Like from the second edition, kind of all of these. For me, it was all of these. It was not all of the pictures, of course, but Larry Elmore was really like one of the famous celebrities for me during this era.
Okay.
And Gary Gygax never really came up to into my mind, but when he came up into my mind, it's such a name. It's so iconic. So, and Dave Arneson always played the second role, kind of, you know.
Yeah,
so,
the second fiddle, but
yeah.
he
was
like he made the
the creative. He was the creative guy behind that. I think. Right? Okay, creative is a huge sentence, you know, but he was like kind of like the guy who like. Gygax was always like into mini wargamings.
Yeah, he was really rulesy.
Rules, like you said, what I bring up to our battle royale. But Arneson was always like more, hey, let's do it more individualized. You know, like I want to tell more stories. I don't want that there is a winner and a loser in the game. I hate it.
Yeah.
You know, all this competition. It's so boring. It's like it's so dusty, he said, you know. So fuck it. I want to tell a story. I want to go into the dungeon and I want to go look what's in the castle and not just fight around the castle, you know. So, and I want to see what one mini can do and not a whole army can do.
Yeah, but that's kind of like the difference between these two things. So Gygax was sort of like board games, for example. Any board game has rules, and you play by the rules, and that's it. Settlers of Catan, chess, Scrabble, whatever. There's a rules thing, and then you don't stray outside of that. And it's constraining, but in a really good way, because then you go within those parameters and have a really fucking great
it's like
time.
a frame. So,
but then with when you're a kid, you play with action figures, you know?
Yes.
And then it's like you're just making a story and improvising, and like maybe like He-Man's fighting Hordak or whatever the fuck, and then it's like badass shit, you know? And that's more like...
That's not possible.
It's the role playing. So it was the combination of those two things that is what D&D is. And each one of those guys' brains was like just more oriented towards one of those two things. But they both recognized in each other the value of swirling those two worlds together and making this new badass game, I think.
You know where they met up the first time? It was on this...
Kit Kat Club?
True, right, check, cool. Cool that you recognize that. Which year?
Oh, yeah, I don't think Kit Kat Club was around in the 80s, was it? That's a sex club in Berlin, folks, by the way. If you haven't gone, you shouldn't try. You probably won't get in.
Yeah, I don't know. It was like, I wrote all these things down, you know, like they met up at first... I know the first Lake Gen
Con, yeah.
That was a Gen Con.
1978 Gen Con, right?
Yes, and then... So 1968 was the first Gen Con, and 1969 was the second Gen Con, and there was like that Dave met Gygax. And that, you go, he getting more beer.
You want another beer?
I'm kind of, I'm in the end of my beer. I have my beer here.
Didn't want to interrupt you. I was just getting a beer while you were talking.
Yeah, whatever you do.
Beer interruption. That's the name of our next episode.
This one?
No, I don't know. I was just kidding. I don't know.
Oh
yeah, the name of nothing.
Oh yeah, we have to think about the name of the
Don't
episode.
bore everyone with our details. Tell us the story here.
The story. Oh god, I forgot the story. 68, first Lake Geneva. That's a city.
Yeah,
and they make it in short like GenCon, and till today it's still the GenCon.
I think it's Gen Con.
Or
like
GenCon.
Geneva.
Yeah.
It's not this hard German G. It's like a French G.
GenCon.
GenCon. Come to Gen Con and roleplay as a dwarf.
Do you have a baguette for me, please? In Gen Con?
It's not Gen Con.
Gen Con. It's
Gen Con.
I'm a fucking German. I say Gen Con. So, and at 69, I love the number 69 so much. It's Gygax.
It is good.
Yeah, Dave Arneson and Gygax met there, you know? So it was the second Gen Con, and Dave and Arneson met there, and Gygax passed over to Dave, like they talked about like the games, and they played some mini war games, like this old one from H.G. Wells, like
the Little Wars
things, and all these real like Napoleon Wars, blah 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 games, you know. And Gygax in this time created already a own little game.
Chainmail, right?
Chainmail.
Yeah.
And now you say it, and now I have to show you something, because I brought something with me.
Shit. It's finally episode. It only took 4 episodes before he's going to pull his penis out on me.
It's just a square penis.
It's a square penis. That's very German. A square penis.
I have minis from Chainmail.
Yo. Oh, wow. Holy fuck, dude.
Yes, man.
But minis from Chainmail?
I have Chainmail minis here.
But that is the modern...
yes.
So they reprinted them.
Yes, I know. I got that as a gift from Lars. Thanks, Lars, again.
Whoa.
And I didn't realize what Chainmail is. I just thought Dungeons & Dragons, and it's like the 3rd edition logo. And it's from 2001. So it's kind of new, but... they reprinted chainmail things, and I
That's rad as fuck.
and that's like a band of dwarfs,
So this is, again, just for context, just to be clear, this is Gary Gygax invented a game called Chainmail, and it was the prototype for Dungeons & Dragons in the 60s even.
Yes.
Not even the 70s yet.
Yes.
And Flow has now minis from that game, but they're reprinted later on.
Yes.
I'm guessing like early 2000s or something.
2001, yes.
And so that's a reprint from the early 2000s of Gary Gygax's original fucking chainmail minis. Let me see that shit.
So yeah, it's dwarves and like an earth elemental thing.
Did they make minis for chainmail in 1968?
I don't think so.
Then what are these?
I
They're original creations from the 2001.
Yes, I think so.
But because like they didn't have
But I
minis
just
available.
love that they had things. They used minis for chainmail, but I think they
Didn't they reuse like minis from other war games? Like usually they're in Napoleonic era or
kind of
like
I
all
think,
19th century shit.
I think they had some companies I worked with. My homework was not so well in this particular thing, which kind of minis they used, but I think they had also like a company which they worked with, but I'm not so sure right now. Whatever. So yeah, but Gygax showed Arneson like this game Chainmail and passed him over like the rules for Chainmail, and Gygax Arneson took that rule set home with him and played Chainmail with friends, and then like recreated other rules from like this chainmail rule set and make like a more role-play game out of chainmail. So chainmail is kind of like the root, and in 1969 the root spreads for D&D. So that was kind of like the chainmail is like the root, like the beginning of D&D, and it was in 69. So it's so funny.
Speaking of 69, I want to show you something.
Yes.
Do you see this mini?
Yeah.
This is a dwarf, yeah?
Yeah, it's a dwarfing fighter girl.
The tits are fantastic.
Yeah, it's completely round.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was listening to you, though.
It's cool, huh? Cool minis. And I just, last week or so, I put the minis out again. And it was like, what the fuck? I have chainmail minis.
Dude, that's rad.
So cool,
as
huh?
fuck, homie.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, you gotta paint those, I guess, because you like paint. You're not gonna paint them?
I'm not so sure. We have also like informed other tin minis here, and I sometimes like these old school minis, just like this metal.
Yeah, okay.
This white metal, I love it, But maybe I will paint them because they are from 2001. But I have others here, like the Demogorgon and like a Demon Hound from 84, 86, and I will never paint them, I think, because they are just cool old school minis. But this one maybe.
I have an idea.
Yes.
Let's
Please.
take a break.
Is it already?
It's like 40 minutes, dude.
What the fuck?
I know. I have
What
so much,
the fuck?
But here's what I want to do. I want to go. Here's something. Ace, I'm pulling out my sleeve on you, homie.
Yeah.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back in time. You thought we were gonna go forward in time
Whoa,
from
nice.
this point.
Oh,
And
nice.
Gary Gygax, Dave Arneson,
to the
Chainmail,
future.
Gen Con.
Yeah.
And you were like, yeah, and then we'll progress through the 70s and the 80s and talk about the development of second edition
But
and
you will
whatnot.
go more back.
Hell no, homie.
Yeah. You go back to Napoleon? You go back to the Greece wars?
I'm going back to the Little Wars by H.G. Wells.
Nice! I like
I'm going back to the war games of the 19th century.
Nice. Cool, dude. Let's have a break.
Bards.
Bots.
Okay. And we're
we're
back. Yeah.
Woo, woo, woo.
I didn't pee, but Flo did.
But just because I had to.
I don't have to. Now I feel like I'm going to have to.
Yeah.
And I'll be holding it. It'll distract me. Oh, well.
Yeah,
That's life.
That's your problem. I didn't
Yeah.
have to, but I think I had
know.
to. Like I was like, okay, we have this break now, so I go.
Yeah, well, I'm a go with the flow kind of guy. And by that, I mean I will pee my pants.
You go with me? Go with the flow?
Go with the flow.
Cheers,
yo.
dude. So, what are we going to do after the break
After
always?
the break, we always do. It's our tradition here on Hack and Slash AD&D 2E podcast.
It's
Go ahead
already
and do
it's
a
already
little
a tradition, guys.
German word of the day.
And today we make it a little bit different because today I started with a quote, so I'm gonna bring up an English word and Jake will translate. Whoa.
Yeah, well, I'll try.
Okay. So, the word for today, because before the break we talked about like this game which developed.
Well, we usually do English words and then we're just reversing roles, but we're still doing the actual.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're the rules guy. Come on.
True. Yeah, I just come up with
We
English.
established that.
Yeah, sorry.
You should
I
know
just
the rules.
Okay. You thought I come up with a German word and you will say the English word?
Normally what we do
is he comes up with the English word.
I say an English word and Flo says the German word. But this week, Flo's coming up with the English word and I have to guess the German word.
Yes.
Or I have to know it. I already knew it.
You know it.
I know it. I'm gonna mispronounce it probably.
Yeah, because he know already what I want to say because I asked him if it's a
planned
cool.
this. This was not a surprise.
Fuck, yeah. Boring.
Next time surprise me.
Maybe. And so, the word today is like this game we talked about like before the break. So, the word is chainmail.
Yeah. And if you don't know what chainmail is, then how are you listening to this podcast? Like, seriously? Like, if you listen to this
it's
podcast,
Armor
you
Class
probably
5,
know
come on. It's Armor Class 5, you know it already.
In second, of course I know Armor Class 5 in second edition, dude. In AD&D 2E, it's Armor Class 5.
I didn't talk to you, sorry. I talked to the viewers, to the listeners. Yeah.
Listeners.
So.
But, like, yeah, anybody listening to a D&D podcast probably knows what chainmail is. If you don't, it's a form of armor used in the medieval times that was made of small little metal ringlets that were put together.
Yeah.
Metal ringlets, yeah, chain ringlets, chainmail. And the German word for it is Kletterhemd.
Oh, nice.
They say it?
No, it's not completely right. Hemd is right. Kletter, it's more like climbing.
Oh.
So Ketten.
Oh, Ketten, right,
it's
right,
like
right,
a Kette.
right. Shit, Kette,
okay, but nice.
Oh, it's literal translation,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. It's
Kletterhemd. That's like a climbing shirt.
It's like a climbing shirt.
I'm going to the rock climbing wall. I better get my Kletterhemd.
Nice. Yeah, Kettenhemd. So, and it's like the last episode, we always said like, or we talked about like Germany is always brings words like makes them the words make sense, you know.
Yeah, they're very logical.
So
yeah,
it's really logical. So in Kettenhemd is the same, you know. It's a Kette, it's a chain.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a hemd. It's a what is it? What?
It's a shirt.
It's a shirt.
Chain shirt.
Yeah, it's a chain shirt.
Yeah,
so,
well.
A Kettenhemd. So chainmail, Kettenhemd. Nice.
Okay,
That
nice,
was the
dude.
word.
Yeah, chainmail.
Cheers.
Woo woo. Ba-ba.
Okay, so where we are. You want to
I'm
go,
going to take you back in time, dude. I want to talk about where this fucking the idea of D&D, you know, it was so funny. I feel like Gygax and Arneson, it was like sort of like these two worlds. Like Gygax was the old school guy. He was the old world dude. He brought like all this momentum and development from this wargaming culture that had been around for quite some time. And then Arneson took this like childlike improvisational theater sort of approach and like just said like, let's have fun and tell a story together. Mm-hmm. And that was kind of like the future, you know, it fused it with the past.
Yes.
But that's what D&D like became. But going back, like with Gygax's world, war games were always with armies. They were with units. They were traditionally. That's one of the things that made during their era, during the late '60s, early '70s, when they're developing D&D. Like before that, it was all like units and not individuals, and then it became individuals. And they were like, what if instead of like an infantry unit, we had one dude who's the infantry.
Why not
and
100 people? Why? What is this one guy?
Yeah, it's this one dude. He's like he's a barbarian, and he's in the, and then he's having the adventure, an individual person. Yeah, and this fantasy becomes less about like this war fantasy, but more about like, you personalize yourself with a character the same way you do as an actor, the same way you do as an improv artist, that where you're like, the same as you do when you're a little kid playing with He-Man, where you're like,
you are He-Man.
You are projecting this part of your little kid psyche into the He-Man action figure.
I remember that, like,
and
I was a velociraptor, you know?
Yeah, you were.
I was a dinosaur.
I was a real velociraptor in bed last night.
I was a brontosaurus.
But going back in time from Gygax, man, This wargaming culture, I found it fascinating, dude, as I went down the rabbit hole, because he adapted. This wargaming culture was like a lot of British old dudes mostly, and
H.G. Wells.
Yeah, actually, didn't Gygax made his own game called Cavaliers and Roundheads that was based off the English Civil War.
Oh, nice. Okay, I didn't know that.
And yeah, that was like the Civil War in the 1600s, I think, right after the 30 Years' War. Yeah. And then he was going off this tradition of these old British dudes kind of recreating battles, and I felt like it sounds to me like it's a bunch of old crusty old white fuckers like recreating glory days in their imagination of wars that happened kind of pretty close to, if not within their lifetimes, you know? Yeah. Like the same way in the US it's popular to recreate the Civil War. Yeah. Like they were kind of like, imagine you're like a 70-year-old British dude in like 1960 and you're like, we shall recreate wars of the Napoleonic era of the when Britain was really great and stuff.
No fantasy, nothing, just really like playing the history and
it had to be historically accurate.
Yeah.
They were like,
totally,
this is where the tree was in the battlefield.
Bring
so
it back, back to the table. So to the table, or it was not even on the table; it was on the floor. You know, they sit like old men sitting on the floor with toy soldiers made out of tin or whatever. So and like cardboard boxes and blah blah, and played there the war. You know,
exactly. They recreated the war and sort of like used a set of rules to try and see how it would go if they did it differently. Sort of like Britain lost this battle, but if I was in charge and luck was on my side, then I'd be doing like this.
Yeah,
and
that's too much imagination, you know. So they wanted to recreate that battle. You know?
I think part of it was like trying to let their own strategy and the odds like see how the battle would go.
So people, if you're into like these old school war games, so there's a really interesting, I think, or a nice picture of like H.G. Wells' Little Wars.
Little Wars.
Yeah, how they sit there on the floor, surrounded from little soldiers. I love this picture. You know,
think it's crazy that H.G. Wells, like this guy. The more I learn about him, the more I'm a little bit fascinated by the dude, because like, you know, he made the War of the Worlds. Yeah. Which was this radio drama where everybody thought aliens.
It was the same, huh?
Yeah, he made a radio drama that said aliens are invading, and it was a little prank, and like people believed it, and they thought really aliens were invading.
Coming,
they didn't know it was fiction. They just heard on the radio, and
that's why it ringing my bell. This name H.G. Wells. It was like, is it not the same guy?
Yeah, and how D&D is that? Like really, the mind control of a new technology, the radio. You know. Yeah. But
that's what we're doing today.
Check out the name, the full name. He invented a war game. Yeah. That was what Gygax sort of based a lot of his games, these games off of. It was all based off, but it was called Little Wars.
Yes.
And it was like for all these little toy soldiers that kids had. They just created a rule set for it, and here's the official name of the game. Are you ready for this?
Yes, please.
I shall speak in a British accent.
Yeah, cool.
Like H.G. Wells himself. The game was called Little Wars, a game for boys from 12 years of age to 150, and for that more intelligent sort of girl who likes boys' games and books.
I knew that quote. It's so
sexist,
it's
dude.
So sexist and so in this time. It's so bad.
It was 1913. 1913 is when it was published.
Crazy.
And but then, dude, here's the thing. I went further down the hole.
The
rabbit hole. The rabbit hole.
Yeah. Not this one. Okay. Yeah.
And I looked at like where did Wells get his ideas though?
Yeah.
And
dude, this rabbit hole is it's endless. You know, it goes back to the Egyptians.
Well, you know where it goes.
Kind of. So.
From Wells immediately is here's the crazy shit, dude. To fucking Berlin, homie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because so like in the 1800s, in the early 1800s, there was like people trying to make war games, but they were really, really constraining themselves with the rules. They made it like chess, so that like the game board would be kind of like rivers would flow at right angles and stuff.
You know that Gygax bring out the 3D chess? I didn't know that. It's from him. 3D chess.
3D chess?
3D chess over 3 levels.
Oh, damn, dude.
With
Okay,
different
like
minis
thing.
also. That's so crazy.
Also,
like,
the Rubik's Cube was invented the same year D&D came out, so I'm just saying, there's a lot of shit going on in the 70s, homie.
What the fuck?
But like, that's dude, check it out. Like, in the Prussian times, in the 1800s, man, like there was this guy, Reiswitz, I think Reiswitz was his name, I think.
Yeah.
I gotta check my notes, but like, this dude, he kind of like developed the games. Reiswitz. He wanted to make war games more like malleable, and so he was the first one. He actually like dumped a bunch of sand on the table and then smoothed out the sand and made a little battlefield, and was the first one to kind of use the
imagination of like
a tabletop 3D terrain, like tabletop mini gaming, like how we do today.
Okay.
But then he kind of tried to recreate, like have it be a training thing for the Prussian military.
Yeah. I remember that.
And like
that's actually how like in wars, like in the Second and the First World War, like maps worked, with real miniatures, so they recreated like strategies on the maps, and so we recreated like the wars there.
Yeah, when you see
that
those
was the
old
first
movies.
Mini war games, but it was not a game because it was
like
real
a training
war.
session.
It was a training session,
and they had those little sticks, like whenever you see always those little sticks to move the figures. Yeah. But like,
so really hard times, like where it comes from. So it's nice that it's not anymore like that. I mean, it's still like that.
Oh no, that's for sure. No, that's the point. Is
so,
like,
I mean, more digital and blah blah blah. But it's cool that like Dave Arneson comes then and say, I want more this kid style.
Exactly, dude, and that's where I'm going with it. Is like, when Reiswitz came and made these games, like at first they weren't taken very seriously, but then he introduced it to the king, Frederick. I think Frederick the Third.
I heard that story too.
And he was like, "Oh, that's brilliant!" And he made like this big porcelain gaming table for him, but then it was too expensive for consumers, so like it was kind of like not a marketable product. That came later.
Funny,
but also. I thought this was kind of funny. It said that in the 1860, then the game was widely played by the military. It was a little bit after Reiswitz's time. He apparently killed himself. Oh. Yeah, hard times, dude. There's a burp for Reiswitz.
Yes.
The progenitor of modern war games. Pour one for my homies who have died.
Cheers.
Yeah. But then it says, look, this is a fun little factoid. The wargame survived thanks to the efforts of a small number of wargaming clubs. The earliest of these wargaming clubs, these actual clubs where guys get together and play these Kriegsspiel, the war games,
Kriegsspiele.
Extra bonus German word for you.
Yes.
The earliest of the clubs was the Berlin War Game Association.
Crazy.
So you are now in a game club where you go play Warhammer 40K every week.
Yeah, not anymore because it moved, but yeah, whatever. And I'm out of war games because I got tired of that because of all this competition shit.
But the earliest one is from 1860 in Berlin.
Crazy.
The biggest one was the Berlin Wargaming Club.
Is there anywhere it was the real like place?
I'm sure we could.
I
didn't go that far down the rabbit hole.
Like, is there a museum for it? So
we should
cool.
make one, dude. We should make a fucking museum for it. There's a million museums in this city.
Yeah,
we should make the fucking Berlin
really cool,
Wargaming
Thanks,
Museum.
man. I learned something today from that. So it's so cool. I learned a lot because of this episode today, because of the homework we did for the research. I learned a lot, but that's completely not completely new. I heard about this Reiswitz before, and I knew that. Mini war games were for strategic deploys for strategic research for like officers and majors in armies, of course.
But no one took it seriously really until like the late 1860s, 50s. But then it was actually the Franco.
I'm pretty sure that Caesar in Rome and blah 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 also had like little
Well, sure,
figures,
like you're
you know?
saying. I mean,
so
like you
out
could
of
go back
stones
far.
or whatever, you can go back far.
Yeah,
and they,
you could keep,
you know,
even like cavemen,
or
probably
they just
were like
painted like maps on in sand, you know, like
Yeah, exactly,
So
yeah.
that's kind of the beginning of maybe I don't know, you know, like
yeah, sure, for sure, dude. Like
so-
you can trace. It's the same way you trace like street art back to
yeah, for
cave
sure,
art,
graffiti,
like,
and then for sure,
You know, there's a lot of you can always connect it to like something further back, but in terms of the kind of concrete way that D&D is played, like I think I don't know, maybe I'm a little bullshitting here, but like I think really the earliest phases of it is that early 19th century Prussian
For sure,
Kriegspiel.
that was inspiring for H.G. Wells, and H.G. Wells, then Gary
Exactly,
Gygax,
yeah.
kind of, you know. I mean, Gary Gygax was born in 1938, so...
I saw you look at your notes and you said that. You didn't know that off your head.
No, I have it here. Yeah. I know it was in the
Viewers,
30s.
he had to look at his notes.
I'm so sorry.
I looked at my notes a little bit during my thing I just said
but
too.
by me it was more obviously, so I'm sorry.
I had to look up Reiswitz.
What I really wanted to bring out, it's like this little thing what we always use, like the tools, you know, we use for D&D and for most of the role plays is our dice. And how they get developed into D&D.
Oh, okay.
So I really like that. And it's really like also in the comic.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, like
You got it as a
Gygax.
math?
Yeah, he was like in a school supply catalog.
Yeah.
So, and he found like these little cube things. They called. Wait, I have to see. Yeah, you see, my.
Dead air, dude. You're killing the fucking vibe.
Platonic solids.
Yeah.
You know, and there was also the icosahedron. That's a D20, and there were normally like 5 platonic solids, like the D4, D6, D8, D12, and D20. And then they also put inside the D10. And Gygax was always like rolling with 2D6. And he was like, I need like a more linear curve.
Yeah, that curve. Yeah, the
curve.
2D6 curve is like a bell curve.
Yeah, and he was more like a linear curve. And he invited like poker chips from 1 to 20. And people could put out of the bag the poker chips.
Right.
And then
the first
like,
D20 was a random draw of poker chips in the bag.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and then he saw that on this school catalog for like math class. So, and then he ordered like these dices, like these platonic solids. It's a name for it. It's like curbs in different shapes. So, and then he made numbers on it. So, and that was the inviting of the dice we love. It's so interesting. So I love this story behind the dice. You know, it
is cool, man.
So
the
because
dice is one of the funnest parts of the game. I love it.
So, and I love this D20. It's so iconic.
Yeah.
So, and it was like for me, it was like, oh, cool. That's completely new. I didn't know that where it comes from because I always thought about who invited the dice and where they come from. Okay, it comes from math people. You know, people who love math.
Of course, yeah.
So
odd statistics.
Of course. So much fun. I loved that story. So yeah, but yeah. So Gygax was like. When he was 4, he already loved mini war games. Mm-hmm. So he played with soldiers and blah blah. And with 18, he moved around in the US and he got into like these little wars from H.G. Wells. And then he created like his own mini war games. And he was so good in calculating because he was an insurance underwriter. And he was like then create their own little rule sets, you know, and that was like in the beginning of the 60s. Or it was like it was at the end of the 60s that the lake this is Gen Con was.
That's the French way of saying it.
Yeah, and then
Gen Con.
and then in 71 Chainmail was Jeff Perrin.
Oh, yeah, Jeff Perrin, dude. We got to give Jeff Perrin a fucking shout on this Origins episode, homie.
Yeah.
Because they made Chainmail. I don't know. Yeah. We got to cheers that dude.
Yeah, cheers.
To all my homies who have died. I don't know if he's dead, but
so
if he dies in the future, we'll...
I don't know. Okay, by the way, Gary Gygax, 1938 till 2008. He was like 70 as he died.
Okay.
And Dave Arneson, 1947 till 2009.
Okay, yeah, wow.
So,
Oh, you know one trivia I love about this, dude?
No?
Oh, I'm so glad. I almost forgot to mention this, but like... that the game, the name of the game Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes, where it comes from.
Yeah, it's from his daughter.
Yeah, but there were, I think so too.
He was play testing.
Yeah.
And then just with his wife and his daughter and the kid up the street.
I hate the internet.
I saw the same thing. I know the internet said it. That's
it
the
was
disputed
a mom.
fact.
And that's a mom. His mom. His wife.
Yeah,
they say it was his wife,
so
but then it was his. The
book we read, The Rise of the Dungeon Master, said it was his daughter,
and
then the
so
internet,
sweet. Yeah.
the wiki article said
it was
maybe his wife, and they don't know.
Yeah.
But I choose to believe the book over Wikipedia.
Me too.
Because, I mean, it's a goddamn book.
Piss for that.
You know?
I have it on paper. I have it in my hand. So I believe that. And not this fucking digital thing.
I've been told Wikipedia's bullshit and that books are real.
It's
common knowledge.
I will also believe that his daughter created it. The name or came up with the name. It was like swords and sorcery.
Yeah, they were trying to come up with all this
blah, blah,
something and something.
And like in this graphic novel, it was so sweet. Like and
it was
the daughter
so sweet, man. It was so beautiful, man.
Dungeons and Dragons. Hey, that's perfect.
It was really touching. It really touched my heart, homie. Like seriously, like that. To imagine that, like this guy who created this game that we all love. You know, it was his young daughter, a child, who named it. Yeah. You know.
Not his wife.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, fuck that. Gives a shit about that story.
Fuck his wife?
No, I don't know if I would, dude.
Okay, good.
Like, I never met. I don't know what she...
So, yeah.
I'm going to start saying horrible things, so cut me off.
I cut you off. So, but that was...
NPC.
But that was way more after, like, 71. So, because... Between 71 and 73, there was this time that chainmail got into the hand of Dave Arneson, and Dave Arneson, we wrote the rules for chainmail and make that more into a role-playing game. And then they playtested it with their friends, like Dave Arneson in his hometown, which I don't know which it was. Sorry. And
I'm going to guess Boise, Idaho.
It was not far away from Lake Geneva, for sure. It was
Wisconsin also, yeah.
So it was not far away.
Yeah.
I know that, I think. So, and then in I think it must be between 1971 and 1973, because 1973, they already found the company TSR. So, and TSR was like the company behind D&D in these times, you know? And by the way, TSR is like Tactical Studies Rules.
That's another stupid thing we didn't know last time. We're just like, TSR, was it me? I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. So, it's
we learned.
Tactical Studies
We're getting
Rules.
better
So
at
we're
this.
getting better. So you see, guys.
Go to our Patreon.
Yeah, please. Give us money.
Please.
Yeah,
we worked at this week.
This is really a hard week.
We actually did some work this time.
Totally.
So
I want to get paid off for that.
Give us $3, we'll give you a sticker.
Or two.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
maybe two. We will see. I have the deal in my hand. Whatever. So, and Dave Arneson, by the way, was like Gary Gygax was his insurance guy who worked in insurance, and he studied like anthropology for a short time. And Dave was like a part-time security guard and a history student.
Yeah, I love it.
So, and he loved games, you know. And 69, they talked together and blah blah blah, and then came up with a new rule set, you know. And then in 1974 there was like that D&D came out. So
yeah, and
so the first edition in January, they already like bring out D&D, the first edition, and the dices, and really quick they sell out. The first 1K boxes, they're packed by themselves. Like Dave Arneson and Gary Gygax packed like starter sets together with rule books and monster books and dice, and put them in a box and sell them by themselves.
It's like $10 or something, right?
I don't know. Yeah, it could be.
And most people got in the mail.
Yeah,
it's like a mail order
so,
thing.
And it was 1K boxes with all the rules, and they sell out so fast. It was like unbelievable for them. Also,
yeah.
Like, what the fuck? What's going on here? People love that shit.
Like they actually like this fucking nerdy ass shit. What the fuck is
What's
this?
going on here? You know, so. Yeah, and then, I don't know, then we can jump to like 76, 78, because then the first PC games came out. Because then PCs also get involved, you know, like Colossal Cave Adventures from Will Croswer. Not so important for me, but I wrote it down here. I just read it. So, But what really bring up D&D into mainstream was a horrible story. And that was in 1979, the missing of Douglas Egbert III.
Yeah, this Mazes and Monsters thing.
Yes.
The real life Mazes and Monsters.
Yeah. So, and there was a young boy, he got missing. I think he was like around 10, maybe 12. Maybe.
No, he was in college.
He was in college. He was already 14, 15.
No, I think he was older than that. He was in college. In the U.S., we don't go to college when we're 14 and 15 unless we're brilliant. And that guy died in a sewer, so I don't think you. I'm very disrespectful.
No. But I'm not sure.
Deep.
Could be that he was older. Yeah, but he was still a teenager. So maybe he was 18, 17, whatever. So, but he got missed. So, and then there was this private investigator. His name was William Deere. He was like...
Good name.
William Deere is a good name, huh? Like also, I love also Dallas Egbert.
Yeah, actually, that's also a good name.
It's good names. So
yeah, I mean, honestly, it's really sad. Like,
yeah.
It's like,
so William Deere was like
that's really fucking
research
sad.
About this Dallas Egbert and found out that Dallas is a D&D player. And then it was like, oh fuck. So maybe he got into a cult. Maybe he got murdered, whatever. And the private investigator, Dallas, William Deere, got into like all these dungeons under the cities, and searched for things and found old condoms. What the fuck?
I saw the image in the comic book. Yeah,
it was also
of him finding a condom.
So also gross stuff, and he all connected that to D&D and blah blah blah.
It is weird that there's like real dungeons though, because like what it reminded me of is when it showed the imagery of William Deere investigating it was the heat tunnels beneath the college,
Yes.
And that's where Egbert
Sorry,
killed himself.
I don't know which city that was. But
I don't know
whatever.
either, dude.
Yeah.
I'm not even looking at it in my notes like you are. Here, I'm riffing off the top of my goddamn head, homie. Like
I can't do that.
Bard, War Master. That's the only thing I'm good at. So I'm not even good at that. But then I went to in this comic, it also showed how in Gary Gygax's childhood there was like some weird tunnels near his home.
Yes.
And that the kids would run around in them, and there was older, scary guys who would shoot at them with pellet guns.
Yeah.
Remember that part of the story?
I don't know what is a pellet gun.
A pellet gun is like a non-lethal, very like kind of benign bullet that it can't really. It'll give you a little welt, you know.
I know that.
It's like a BB gun.
Okay, it's like a Luftpistole.
Like
an air gun.
It hurts, it stings, but it's like doesn't really do real damage, you know.
Yeah, I see.
But like these guys were chasing him around with it.
Yeah, so it's a real dungeon.
Thing,
and there are the dragons.
He really went like in a real D&D experience, and then there's like these real dungeons. I mean, like in the world, like there's that, and then there's Egbert's death in the heat tunnels, but there's shit like there's the catacombs underneath Paris.
Egbert didn't die. Egbert didn't die in the heat
tunnels. Oh no, okay, that's the story.
Egbert. Like this kid who got missed, he after a while, and it was like in TV shows, like on in the news that he was missed.
Oh, then that's right. That's a twist. He was all hyped up.
Yeah, he
wasn't even dead.
He was not dead.
Fuck, homie.
He called the private investigator by himself and said, "I went. I run away. I'm a runaway because my mom fucked up. I hate my mom. Blah blah. I'm depressed." I don't want to stay at home anymore. Blah,
You're
blah,
not
blah.
even looking at your notes right now. You're also a good lore master.
You see.
Yeah, bards.
Yeah, bards. Or DMs. So, and he invited like this private investigator, Mr. Deere, and Deere comes to Dallas. And they talked about like
Deere comes to Dallas.
Deere comes to Dallas.
Sounds like a title of something.
Maybe that's the title of our episode.
Sweet Jesus, no.
No, I don't think so. So, and then they talked about like, oh fuck my childhood and blah blah, and he bring him back home. So
yeah.
But the sad thing is, like in 1980, 1 year later, Dallas suicided himself.
Oh, he did kill himself. Okay, I thought I'd heard that in the story.
Yeah. He killed himself, but just because he was a depressed boy.
Depressed guy, dude.
So it had nothing to do with D&D. And all this shit, William Deere, the private investigator, wrote a book. It's called The DM, The Dungeon Master, The DM. Nobody cares about the book. But in this book...
I don't.
Yeah, me neither. But in this book, he told a real and true story about Egbert. So and
now
not
I
that-
care. Now I care.
Yeah, and not the shitty story what was in the television. You know?
Yeah, dude, the television.
Because the television, then all
Television.
this satanic panic starts.
Yeah,
kind
totally,
of
dude.
because of Egbert
Yeah.
and all that shit. And I mean, it's bad publicity, but it was still publicity. You know? So because of that fucking satanic panic and bad publicity, people wanted to play Dungeons and Dragons. You know, like, what the fuck? That's an evil game. All this kid was like,
Yeah, it's the same
cool.
with like rock, and it's a very classic satanic
like
panic
with
thing. Like
Doom, with Resident Evil, whatever. You know,
whenever
with,
like
with GTA,
parents and
you know,
Christians and
so-
authorities are getting angry or upset about something, it popularizes it.
Yeah,
and in the 80s,
bad
like
publicity is still publicity. so,
rock bands
of
were
course.
like using satanic imagery
Yeah.
intentionally to try and sell records because they
Yeah.
knew that then everybody,
of course.
the parents would be pissed, and then the kids would
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah,
Like, you know.
totally. So
Basic
so
formula.
they really like in
We'll get into that more next month because next month is October. We're gonna do the Halloween episode, Satanic Panic.
Oh yeah,
theme.
little
teaser, dude. I can't wait for
little
that.
teaser.
Can't wait for that.
I'm so into that.
Yeah.
Also. Yeah, but that's next month's story. So yeah, and so in between 1983 and 1984. There was, and 1984 is, by the way, my year where I got born, my birthday.
Where you got born. You got
I
the
got-
birth happening to
Yes.
yourself.
And also, 1 year later, oh, by the way, between 1983 and 1984, it was this year where like there was this big argument between Dave Arneson, Gygax,
Oh, really?
and TSR.
Oh no!
So,
the year you were born, homie. Did you do that?
Maybe it's because of that. Because it was so important. They had to had an argument.
They were
you know,
like-
so there's a bigger.
There's this cosmic thing. You came
yeah,
into the world,
yeah,
and
there's
then
a
you
more
like
important
impacted
thing.
the universe.
So, Dave, you are not any more important for that game. There's this flow. Maybe I don't know.
Motherfucker.
So and then we can switch like into 85, and there was this TSR sellout, the company who brings out D&D in these times. There was the sellout. There was like Gygax. So Dave Arneson wasn't anymore at TSR. He was like for his own, and he just said, "I want to that my name is on the books also. That I'm a creator. I'm a co-creator of D&D." And Arneson got that from the court. Like it was like, okay, you have to put Dave Arneson's name also there. It's not on this Dungeon Master.
It's not
guide.
on the fucking
Not
handbook
on
for
this.
Spielleiter
Yeah,
that you got over there on our
it's funny, yeah.
little table.
So, but after that, he was like, his name has to be on the covers. And 85, that was the year where TSR got sold out. And
Yeah.
Gygax also got sold out.
Yeah, he got kicked out. Yeah, by his
Kicked
own
out.
company, dude.
Yes.
Classic situation, right? Like
Yeah.
that happens, I guess. Like, you know,
For sure.
company, like, yeah.
Yeah.
Your head gets too big for your own asshole, of which it's been shoved in for far too long.
Totally. And then we can switch, like, you know, it was all like first edition. And like the beginning of first edition was like it called all the time D&D.
Yeah.
And then I think I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 years after 74, like maybe 76, 77, then it called into AD&D, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons from Gygax. I was always like, I mixed it up. I was always like second edition is just AD&D, but it's not. It's also in the first edition AD&D.
Yeah, yeah.
So in the late. No, not even in the late of the first edition. Like in the beginning, still, you know.
Oh,
like,
so it was like first edition, and then it was AD&D, and then it was second edition, and
Yeah.
then it was AD&D second edition.
Yes,
That's
yes,
the
right, yes,
sequence
yeah,
of events.
Yes, and 89 was like the beginning of the second edition.
Yeah.
So that
I
was-
know, that's why it's the 90s fucking podcast, dude.
Totally.
Because
yeah.
didn't third edition come out in like 2000 or 2001?
Yes.
So like
2001.
literally
Yeah,
like
2000,
AD&D
2001.
2E is
It's
like
a completely
the
90s. It's a 90s thing.
Yeah.
And it's also like the first edition is the longest one. No, it's kind of the longest, but second edition it's a really, really long ongoing edition, you know, over 10 years for one edition in a game. It's really long, you know, like for example Warhammer games editions, it's like 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah.
So, and it's also now they say like the 5E, it's like 6 years now. They say it's long enough. You know?
Yeah, now they're
So-
going to try and make a bunch of goddamn more money by making another goddamn edition.
Yeah, they have to live, you know?
You know what's
so
funny,
it's
though?
Normal,
is I thought about, like, you know, at the beginning of the show, in our intro theme song, you say, I don't know why we still play it and love it, but we love it. You know? Yeah. We still play it. Yeah. And it's like, I was thinking, I want to ask you on this podcast flow, don't you think that we play it and love it because we grew up with it, because we knew it, and we still know it, and we're so intimate with it that, like, we just will never be able to let go because it was around for so long. It was immutable. It was a game that, like, was really... It wasn't changing. It wasn't like phones now and computers and this built-in obsolescence bullshit. It wasn't a capitalistic fucking thing
like
where,
the
like,
comics in this time.
You know,
it's like all of these things. You know, it's nostalgic, and it's for sure. It was like a milestone. You know, you can hold on it.
But you didn't have to buy the new thing 6 years later.
Yeah.
You just could, like, play the game and immerse yourself in it. Yeah. What's like that anymore? You know, what is a thing where you can actually just sit there and enjoy the thing until a new thing comes out that you have to buy and replace the old thing with?
I have a bad example. What is not, you know, like for example, I played Warhammer 40k the last years, and then it's now a new edition. It's a 10th edition. I played the 8th and the 9th edition, a long time the 9th edition, and now it's a 10th edition.
Sweet Jesus, there's a 10th edition Warhammer?
Yeah. And I can't play it any longer. You know, it's like for me, I don't want to catch up.
They're
with all
just
the
going to make a new thing, and then you have to learn the new rules. You spend a lot of time doing it.
But for Warhammer, it's always like all the people are switching to the new edition. So you don't have people who play the old things. Okay, people are playing old Warhammer. It's also called Old Hammer.
Old Hammer,
and they're playing old Warhammer Fantasy. But
that sounds like a limp penis. My old hammer's just not up to speed anymore.
It's just hanging there. So, but it's fantasy, and I play this sci-fi thing. Whatever. What I wanted to say about that is, like, yeah, you are right. You know, like, so it was a constant thing. You could play it like for a long time, and there was no change. So over 10 years, you know, and I started this 1999. So, like, it was already 10 years old, and it was like when I started this, it was like 1 year later. There came the 3rd edition to Germany, or 2001 came the 3rd edition to Germany.
And same in the US.
But me and my friends was like, no, we will not switch. We stay on the 2nd edition, and that's still what I do and what you do too. You know, like,
yes, because we're like locked in, dude. It's like, why bother with the new shit?
Yeah,
like,
it's so good.
Why do you have to?
You know, and I
why
don't
do you
know
have to
the
always
90s
buy new shit all the time?
Yeah.
And learn new shit and spend time in your life.
I totally got it. You know, like, companies have to live because people are working.
Because capitalism, dude.
Yeah, but also so. like games are living like that. You know, like for the new generation. You know, like 90s rules are not cool maybe for the 90s for the new generation. So they want new rules,
and they
more
gotta, like,
expanded rules, blah blah.
Something that make it easier.
We are
just
fucking
figure
old
out,
boys,
like,
you know. Like,
we are 40,
we're old
as fuck.
So whatever, you know.
Yeah.
So, but I will never change. And I will never change. Maybe I will give it a try. The 6th edition will come maybe next year. Because next year is a fucking birthday of D&D, man. It's the quote I will bring out is already 5 years old, and there Joe Manganiello.
How do you say it? Next. Tune in for our next podcast where we'll pronounce Joe Manganiello's name correctly.
Please hashtag him to...
God damn it, Joe. I'm sorry, dude. He's so rad. He's so cool.
He's so cool.
Jesus Christ. And he's not dead like Dave Arneson, so we shouldn't disrespect him like that.
But it's just a name. You know, we are stupid. We can't, it's like a Spanish name.
We're giant retardos, yeah.
We are retarded. You say that.
I said it.
What?
Oh, no.
What's going on with you? Oh, say it.
NPC.
Oh, the hell is opening.
I want to conclude this podcast with my... Jerry's final thoughts. That's a very 90s thing.
Jerry's final thought. Is it already final?
It's final, yeah, dude.
Oh, damn it. Okay, we are there at the 2nd edition already. So,
but you know, Jerry Springer was this show in the 90s, and it was like the original trash TV. It was like, you know how shitty TV got after the 90s? He was like the one who made that. And it was just like... at the end, it was like a talk show, but where people like fight. The audience would fight each other physically and stuff.
Yeah, okay, these ones.
And everyone would go, Jerry. But he
this blonde guy, huh?
I think his hair was pretty gray by then.
Yeah, okay, blonde.
It's like gray blonde, curly, a little bit like mine, except better. And
yours are better, yeah, sure, because you're curly. Yeah, I love it.
Bards.
Thoughts?
He had final thoughts. It was always Jerry's final thought. So here's Jake's final thought. No, not final thoughts. Not my final thoughts. My final thoughts. Now there's my German. I'm going from French to German in a hurry. Look,
cheers.
The thing is, man, I want to cheers and address a topic here. We just concluded my mud run for Satan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was super cool. I
saw the pictures.
I ran a mud obstacle
that
course.
was also in between the last episode and this episode. So much things going on.
Yeah, we did a lot.
In August, like the month.
We do a lot of things in life outside of this podcast.
Yeah, we're not just sitting on our ass.
We're not just sitting here like reading Gary Gygax comics.
Yeah, kind of.
You are, no, but whatever, dude.
I also sit on my ass and paint minis.
Yeah, well, I sit on my ass and play Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh,
I got
nice,
it. Oh man.
Nice.
Well,
Okay.
next time.
But
Let's not
sorry,
go into that.
you wanted to
Jesus
wrap it up
Christ.
already, but I'm still into, and I also want to go through my red line. But it's we are finished.
My little Roten Faden, dude. Like I'm just gonna say is like I think it's very good because I'm just very excited about it because the idea is that war games used to be this thing where a bunch of old white dudes just sat around a table and kind of glorified war.
Yes, right. Right. Yeah, right.
And in the 20th century, I personally believe that in the 20th century, like humans evolved and outgrew a bunch of bullshit from the past that was holding them back.
Yes.
And a lot of humans
and
still
included art,
huh?
And included art into war games.
Well, but beyond that, I'm not even talking about that.
Okay.
Like, I'm talking about like actual just human evolution. I think that in the 20th century, like a lot of humans evolved past like this threshold, and that there's a load of people in power today, right now, as we speak, who are keeping us in the distant past. There's literally like a bunch of like the people in power on planet Earth right now are like living in a 19th century world in their heads.
Yeah.
And there's like millions and billions of us that see past it and yearn to destroy that past and destroy what those assholes, those old white assholes, like honestly, old white men. Seriously, I'm sorry because I'm a white man too, and so like it's horrible to be part of this group.
I mean, I have to interrupt you there because
Yeah.
I talked to a friend who is POC, and he said, "Flo, there are assholes in all colors."
Oh no, there is, yeah, for sure, yeah. There's a lot of black assholes and
whatever.
Chinese
but
assholes.
I know what you mean.
And mostly they're all men.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the unifying factor.
That's maybe.
And
the,
to my
the
point,
factor, yeah.
that is the
I mean,
unifying
there are
factor.
also fucking queens who are assholes.
Like, did you see the Barbie movie?
I don't. I want to.
I watched it and it was badass. I'm gonna throw a spoiler out, so just skip ahead for like.
Felix also. Shout out to Felix.
Yeah, shout out to Felix, dude. Skip ahead 1 to 10 minutes. I don't know how I'm gonna talk about this, but like, could go for 10, could go for 1. A minute. But in the Barbie movie, there was this really funny scene because the Barbies all have their moment, and it's like as if girls were playing with Barbies. And then that's not happening. There's no burps in the Barbie moment.
No.
Why? Because girls, little girls, when they're playing with dolls, there's like dance parties and dream houses and like becoming the president and all this stuff. Yeah. But then it's
really social critical
in the movie when the Kens get together and the Kens take control, the men, right?
Yes.
Like it's really funny. I love the fucking Ken dance scene because it's like the war of the Kens, and all of a sudden it's like if boys got control of Ken dolls, like if me and you were little boys, like playing with Ken dolls,
fighting.
they'd be fighting each other, dude. They'd be like He-Man, you know?
Yeah, really, they did that.
Yeah, really.
Nice.
Yeah, and
Funny.
it would really be
Fuck
like
you, spoiler.
It would be like He-Man,
Nice.
like it would be like He-Man versus Skeletor, but it's just two Ken dolls throwing frisbees at each other in a war. You know,
funny,
They didn't have a sword or
Cool
a
idea.
thing or anything, so it was super funny.
Cool.
But it was really brilliant because the idea is, boys, men, males, we kind of. Our brains are geared towards
It's
war
because of fucking our hormones, you know.
Yeah, it's the X chromosome, homie. But like, the
Testosterone, you know.
But here's the thing about D&D.
testosterone.
I bring it to D&D.
Yeah, that's a.
I bring it to D&D.
Yeah.
In the past with Gygax, he was taking off this tradition of wargaming where it was a bunch of old white dudes who wanted to sit around a table and recreate wars and strategize. But Arneson, homie, Arneson, this is why I feel so bad about mispronouncing his name last week. That dude, he took it to this level where like, then you're role playing, then you're dramatizing, then
you play theater.
Then you are really putting yourself into these characters, and the world becomes not about war, but like the
Telling a story.
the
Telling a
possibility
story,
of war. But you can avert the war if you want.
Yeah.
You can do what you want with your own character, your own life. And I think that there's this brilliant quote. It's out of this Rise of the Dungeon Master, where Gygax said, "Every man wants to be a warrior."
Yeah.
And that is kind of a sexist 70s-ish thing.
Yeah.
Yet I think it does exist in the male psyche.
You sent me this.
I sent you that on WhatsApp.
so
Yeah.
cool.
And I really thought about it. And the idea is that like humans we've out-evolved war. War is a relic. War, much like religion, is a relic of the past. It's no longer relevant in our day-to-day world.
But
And if we want to
happens.
survive as a species, we need to get rid of those things.
Yeah, for sure.
But there's certain people in power who perpetuate them. But most of us who are raised in a smart society, like don't want war, and we are atheists. We see past religion. And now like
sorry to interrupt. That's a political thing right now, but I doubt that thing. I think maybe fucking humans are like that, you know. Fucking humans are like that, male, you know. Maybe this fucking hormones make us doing war, you know. Maybe maybe that's fucking our nature. I don't know. I don't hope so.
We have. The thing is, we have now tools. We have outlets. We have the creations we never had before.
We don't need to fucking war for sure.
But there's this impulse in our head, and we can take it. And we can do something better with it that is more productive. And D&D is what that is.
Yeah, for sure.
For D&D is like
Play
the old. It's
a
Gygax's world.
Play
Arneson's
a nice, cool game
world.
together with friends.
You
for
mentioned
sure.
it earlier in the podcast, and I wanted to just explode when you said that and keep going with it, but I didn't want to ruin the flow. No pun intended. No pun intended with your goddamn name. But like, you said, Arneson took it to this more playful theater, and Gygax is this old world of the wargaming generation.
More the strategic thing.
But now it's kind of like, dude, like war needs to be over, but the our brains don't evolve as fast as the world around us. And D&D is a beautiful and brilliant tool. Again, I've worked in a lot of Renaissance festivals and Middle Altermarkt and that kind of thing. And there's like war veterans that are there that are then kind of living just in this fantasy world. They're no longer like killing people on the battlefield in Afghanistan or something. They're just there like with friends and imagining and not hurting anybody and being nonviolent, but still kind of having those impulses satiated. And we can do that as a tabletop gaming community. We can go fight goblins. We can become barbarians or bards or wizards.
Harsh and can still be hardcore if you want to, but it's just on the table.
It's imaginary. It's medieval fantasy, and it's fun, and it's harmless.
It's not real.
And it takes those ideas where the old dudes used to have, like, we need to make war games and plan for war.
Yeah, you can make it on the table. You can have it in
then
your
just
head.
do it on the table,
but
dude.
don't do it in real life.
Don't do it in real life. War, we've outgrown war. Humans don't need war anymore.
Nice
Okay?
last words, dude. I love it.
Yeah,
it's
like,
nice. It's so cool. I mean, there are so many more things. I love it. I love your last words, dude. So good.
But that's what I think is like really when we're talking about the origins of D&D. I really thought thought about this Gygax Arneson thing.
Yeah, it's like a war, like these books name Games Wizards, and there was like this war, the epic battle for Dungeons and Dragons. They had this battle.
Yeah.
So fuck it.
They had an argument amongst themselves.
A real life battle. So you don't need this real life battle anymore. You can play a battle if it is on table with friends or maybe on video games, whatever. But yeah, if you want to like have like this action blah blah blah, you can have it, but you don't have to fight others. Fuck it.
Yeah, I also thought about like Quentin Tarantino, which I was going to mention earlier, but I didn't get there. But like how when he does interviews and people are trying to criticize the violence in his movies, he's always like,
"It's art.
It's an impulse of our imagination, and that's fine. And you just don't do it in real life.
Right.
You don't do the mazes and monsters thing.
Yes.
You just enjoy the imagination, the fantasy of it, and then that cleanses it. It kind of gets it out of you. It takes that impulse and transmutes it into a productive and good thing.
Yes.
And you don't have to fucking be a war violent dude. Like you just enjoy a game and then you go on with your life,
I don't know if any of these cool ideas of like this crazy like GTA Resident Evil games would have existed without real life action things. I don't know, because of the imagination comes from real life. Don't know, but whatever happens. So it is the past. We don't have to do it anymore. I totally agree with your point. Like fuck off. So we don't need this.
We do not need war.
Yeah, no,
we do not need to go kill.
Yeah, for sure not.
People. We need to think about killing goblins because goblins are a problem.
But I still think like maybe forever there were assholes who want all the power, and they always think like we have to murder the others.
Oh, there are. Forever there's going to be those assholes.
And then there's Elon Musk who want to rescue us and go to the Mars.
And that's a topic for another podcast. I don't think he wants to rescue us and go to Mars.
Not us. Just the rich people. Just him.
I think he's supposed to be a dictator on Mars. I mean,
yeah, for sure. dude, I totally forgot about like the 90s. We in Germany had...
Got any final thoughts? Flo's final thoughts. Jerry.
We had, as kids, always like this eating paper things. We could eat paper.
Oh, dude, you're going to have me eat the paper thing?
You have to eat
Are we doing this on the podcast? Okay.
Yes. So.
It's a weird paper candy. Here I go. Flo, there's candy that is paper from Flo's German childhood.
And it's green apple. Green apple taste.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty good, actually. Huh? I like it.
It's cool, huh?
Yeah, man.
That's what we ate when we were in the 90s.
Okay. Well,
that's why I'm pen and paper,
On that note, homie.
Maybe we wrap it up long.
From
it's so dry.
From Mr. Reiswitz and his Kriegsspiele, the war games of the Prussian 19th century, to H.G. Wells' Little Wars, to Gary Gygax, to Dave Arneson.
Shout out.
To Joe. You say the last name.
Fuck, I
love you, Joe. Oh, man.
Joe Manganiello.
Mangiello. I think it's Mangiello.
Sorry, Joe.
I don't know, dude. Yeah. God damn it, dude.
I love you.
We clearly didn't do enough homework.
You played. You was an actor at Spider-Man.
Dude, he's brilliant. He's a fucking badass motherfucker. Like,
I can't say Tobey Maguire, Why I can't say his name. Whatever. So, yeah, to him. And, like to 1999, where I started D&D. What year you started D&D?
I started playing D&D, I think, in 1993.
Yeah. So 6 years before me, but you're also like 2 years older than me, or 3, or whatever.
Yeah, the gap is bridged by those numbers. You rules-ass motherfucker.
So, and there were... I just wanted to say...
Oh, what? We got to wrap this episode up, homie. Come on.
97, there was like a Wizard of the Coast then. That's it.
And also in 1997, there's Wizard of the Coast. The end! May you... Let's do the button. No, finish chewing your paper candy. It's weird.
I just wanted to say Wizard of the Coast was one other company after TSR. So, okay. We wrap it up. And dude, after we wrap it up with our last final words, what we always say, like traditionally, we have to really wrap it up and not like say things afterward, huh?
I know.
Yeah, but the last time you didn't.
Oh, did I fuck it up?
Yeah, I think so. Not really. It was like fun, like, hey, good night and blah blah blah. But we already said like what we want to say.
Yeah, quit. Let's just stop masturbating all over each other's faces and say the fucking end button. I like drinking beer during this podcast. This really makes it for fun.
Cheers.
Bah, Prost.
Guys, thanks for listening. See you next month. Hear you next month. And so now we wrap it up. So final last words. May you roll a natural 20.